Well, first on the Oral Roberts front, very, very concerned with that game. One day prep after an emotional loss versus UNLV. And we had to have a great level of maturity to come back and play well like we did. I thought that was a very, very good performance all around and a great response. Hopefully a quality win at the end of the year. I think Oral Roberts is going to win a lot of games. Grateful to be able to add that game under some unforeseen circumstances out of our control. And grateful for the fans to bounce back and, get almost 10,000 people in the building is just amazing. We're continuing to rebuild the program as well as rebuild this amazing fan base. Now we got to go on the road. We had a good practice yesterday. We'll have another one today and then hit the road tomorrow morning and practice up there. San Diego State is a terrific team. It's a culture that's been intact for the last 20-something years, obviously with what Coach Fisher built, and then to be able to keep some continuity and some stability is huge. So that's what we're fighting against. They're strong, they're physical, they're tough, they're old, and we've got to be prepared for just an absolute physical bloodbath with every little thing that we do because they do it to everybody. So a lot of respect for them and know it's going to be a great challenge.
I guess to start off, is Javonte going to be available?
I hope so. He did some non-contact stuff yesterday. We'll try to ramp it up a little bit more today and then kind of make a decision moving forward. So trending in the right direction for sure.
The environment, it'll be the first real test of an incredible environment. I know St. Mary's was a home game. And they're usually pretty tough, but San Diego State, you anticipate facing a great crowd from them?
Yeah, I think it's all part of the growth of our program. I told our guys, give UNLV credit. They stared that environment in the face and they were unfazed. And that's, as you build a program and you get better and better, it becomes a bigger game on the road when you're good. And the fans bring it. So we know it's a tough environment, but for me, I've done it long enough. That stuff really doesn't matter much to me. It comes down to us versus them, and they're a very competitive, tough team. Hopefully these older guys have some experience. They've all played in tough environments. But our best win of the year was on the road. St. Mary's is a top 10 net team right now or whatever it is. So hopefully we can play with some poise like we did there.
So with Javonte and then KJ missing the Fresno State game, your depth's been tested a little bit. How comfortable are you with where it's at right now?
Well, I think as the program grows, that'll get better and better. We're redshirting 2 players. We obviously had Jay Allen Tovar transfer mid-year. So is it where it needs to be? No, probably not. That takes time. That's not going to happen right away when you add 8 players in year one off of Zooms, and you're not going to hit on all of them. I think we did a pretty good job. And then you add some quality guys, but then you just got to continue to – the freshmen got to get bigger and stronger and older. You got to continue to add value in the spring and through recruiting, but that takes time.
So Bream and Sebastian, what do they got to do to, prove that they deserve more minutes?
Just keep getting better, keep getting stronger, improving your game more than anything.
What is an ideal rotation for you? I get asked a lot about why this person isn't playing or that person isn't playing, but you're usually 6 or 7 deep. Do you normally, in the past, have you gone much beyond 7 deep?
Yeah, for sure. 8 or 9 would be great. It's not a knock on anybody on the team, but, Jay was playing a decent amount and then he leaves. So that would have been 8 right there. And I think with Sebastian and Barima, they were both potential redshirt guys that weren't able to do it because of the circumstances of last year. E-Man healthy. He was playing, so it depends on the roster. We didn't inherit, old guys that we could plug in. So we had to start really over. Obviously, Javonte had the experience E-Man. Well, E-Man gets hurt, obviously. And then so it's just one of those things where as the program grows, it'll get better. I mean, I think what's hard about this team in a good way is we keep thinking this is like a finished product because we are 15-2. We've had some really good wins. We've had some great crowds, but this is year 2 of a major, major rebuild. So I think as we get older and get more stability, then Sebastian's a junior, has been in the program for 2 years. Barima's. So it's just it's always hard the first couple years because it never really feels truly like your program. So we're working through that. So the idea is not to play 6-7 guys. I can assure you of that.
Coach, it seems like you're so much better when Josiah is actually not that he isn't involved, but it's just when you get production out of him, it seems you're so much better. Is there an idea maybe to go to him a little bit more?
We always want to go to those guys. It's a matter of finding the maturity offensively to be able to look down there more. I think we're around 49% from the field. That's great. I would like to share the wealth as it pertains to shots a little bit more than we've done. And we just keep working on it. It's not – we're just trying to continue to flow and take what the defense gives us. So Josiah's been great. He's a great 4th, 5th option for sure. And he's good down low. He needs to improve, obviously, out on the perimeter a little bit better. But as I said before, I mean, he brings so much value in a lot of ways. He's so competitive and so relentless. But we're always trying to throw it to those guys in the post.
San Diego State game last year was a game that you guys all seemed to have a realization. If you didn't before, maybe you already had it, but it seems like the players kind of had a realization about what needed to be done in the rebuild if they didn't have it at that point last year, and it had to do with size and strength. And I remember KJ right after the game saying that, like, that's a team, physically that we aren't. How much, I don't want to put too much into it if it wasn't part of the rebuild, but how much is San Diego State what you were building for this whole offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always want to look at the best in your league and see. And when you're not in the league, like I wasn't, year 1 is a great indicator for me to see, okay, we need to be bigger. We need to be, this is what the styles are. And, how do you, take, slay the beast, so to speak. And obviously San Diego State is that. And they've had continuity. They're old. They redshirt guys. They get them better. So as I said before, maybe it was after that game, it's going to take recruiting as well as weight room, skill development, nutrition, all those things to build the young guys as well as supplement the older guys. But yeah, when you look at them, I mean, why are they good defensively? Well, obviously Coach Dutcher and the staff, they do a great job. But they also recruit to it. They're big and strong and physical and long, and they'll switch everything, and they don't mind playing you one-on-one with a big on a guard. So, yeah, I mean, as we continue to recruit and evaluate, we got to be like, okay, well, is that good enough to compete with that? So it's always good to be able to see what you're going against.
Nevada seemed to get really frustrated with the physicality of that game. How do you make sure that your players understand it's going to be hand-to-hand combat? Yeah,
you hope that the older guys, whether it's House, whether it's Mash, whether it's KJ, Javante, guys that played in it, you hope that they talk in the locker room and explain it, because we're going to give them the answers to the test. But it's way, way better when you have experience in the locker room who has said, hey, coach isn't gassing them up here. This is what they do. And that's the key. That's why you need stability. You need to continue to build and grow. So you hope the older guys do that. Sometimes you just got to experience it a little bit to see it. It's probably younger guys who may not know because they don't go against that every single day. They got 8 or 9 Josiahs and Morrises on their team. And so we've got to fight their physicality with the best physicality that we can.
Before Colorado State, you really hyped up Stevens, and that kind of seemed to motivate Jalen. How much are you doing that with Bradley this week?
As I said after the game, I mean, that wasn't really intentional. I give my players the truth. This is not the NBA. This is not one player against another, isolation basketball. That's not what college basketball is all about. So they've got a lot of really good players. We'll try to help them scheme to limit Matt Bradley's attempts, but it wasn't about Mash versus Max last game. That's not what college basketball is all about. So I didn't hype up Stevens. Stevens is a really good point guard who took his team to the NCAA tournament last year, and that's why he was getting the recognition that he deserves. Now his team's dealt with some injuries and all those things. So at the end of the day, like if we win, all of our guys are going to get attention and credit and so on. So Matt Bradley's been in a program that's been really, really good. Therefore, he should get those accolades. So I don't hype anybody up. I give them the truth. I'm not a big mind games guy or anything like that. It's just really, really simple. How can we help put you in a position to succeed individually as well as collectively?
You play a guard on him because he seems to be some kind of hybrid that he's physical and he's going to...
Yeah, I mean, teams have done a little bit of everything with him. And he's going to get his, I mean, that's just the way it is. So I think we got to look at a couple different options. He's not as much of a, point guard anymore. I mean, obviously. So we've got to do our very, very best to put some physicality on him.
Is that a Josiah?
I don't want to really give the scouting report out right now. So tune in on Saturday. I think it's on Fox Sports or CBS. But I think we gotta look at all of it for sure.
This falls under the scouting report a little bit, but the end of the Nevada game, I don't know if that was they were just up so much and you kind of chalk it up to that. Maybe you've seen another film, but do they struggle? Is there an opportunity for the press, I guess, because they did struggle at the end of the Nevada game?
I think that was more of a Nevada desperation comeback. It's just at the end of the day, like, can we have some offensive patience to take great shots, to limit their offensive rebounding attempts, things like that. We don't really press a whole lot. We don't have the depth just yet for that. So I think it was more of an end-of-game thing, honestly.